Hello, this is Stoke the Fire. I'm Pamela Cuccinell, and I'm a professional astrologer, and StokeTheFire.guru is your go-to video show on Monday evening for our subscribers who want the information the night before. StokeTheFire.guru is where you go to subscribe for a very nominal rate. And we'll talk more about that later. But let me just say that I'm the one half because I give the astrology forecast. And now I'll introduce you to Susie, who does the second half. Susie?
Hi, I'm Susie Mazzoli. I'm the second half of Stoke the Fire, and I work as a healer, energetic healing, and also as a professional homeopath, classical homeopathy. And I have a school called the Art of Energetic Healing School in New York City. And Pam and I have been doing Stoke the Fire for many, many years now. And we work together to provide practical information for the work ahead and a spiritual boost for how to navigate what's happening in the week and how it's affecting us. We begin with Pam doing 20 minutes of astrology, and then I come in, or roughly about 20 minutes, and then I come in and do a 10-minute turbo boost activation. So if you're new to Stoke the Fire, I hope that you will enjoy this, and please share with your friends.
Absolutely. So I am going to talk about the week of September 18th, 2017. So one of the very cool things, especially if you've never done a Stoke the Fire before, but we are in what I call the dark of moon period. Well, I'm not the only one who calls it that, but it is the period before the new moon happens. And the new moon, and all the times I will give you are Eastern time, which you'll need to adjust depending on where you are on the planet. But the new moon begins seed energy, a 28-day cycle for starting new beginnings, fresh starts, a new perspective. And you can do it for something that you just want in a very finite amount of time, or you can revisit something that is in process, or you can make a new commitment to something that you want to make happen. So in the dark, I'll talk about the new moon more in a little bit, but here we are in the dark of moon period, September 18th. And the moon is in the sign of Virgo. And the Virgo moon is a wonderfully rich time to really pay attention to a new routine that you want to start, or to reboot a routine that maybe isn't going the way you would like, or some sort of practice that you want to bring attention to, a detail you want to tweak. And the lovely thing about this particular dark of moon, which is 2 days before the new moon hits on Wednesday, September 20th, and it's exact at 1:30 a.m. on September 20th, but these days 1819 before that point in time, to really be beautifully with total commitment and knowledge about what you want to make happen. So what I say to you today, for our people who get this Sunday evening, the day before, there's one thing that's happening is there's a Venus-Uranus picture in the sky, and it's a wonderful aspect for looking at something that you want to put a new spin on. Venus is how we love, show affection, what makes us feel comfortable, what attracts us. And Uranus is the unusual, the out of the blue, the revolution, the sense of freedom and individuality. So when Venus and Uranus are in a configuration that an astrologer looks at as harmonious, we are in a great time to do something a little different than perhaps you usually do. Now, if you're someone who does things a little different all the time, it may be ramped up or it may be spun a different way. If you're someone who has a staid and constant way you do things, you may see yourself attracted to a new color, a new person, a new way of thinking. And what's lovely about that in this dark of moon period is we don't necessarily want to dive in and go right towards it, but we want to savor, consider, sample, think about why now? What is it about that that gives us a new edge or a way of thinking that may be a little different than we've done before? Then there's two other pictures in the sky that happen on Monday that are very, what's the word I want? Like big. I'm not going to say huge, but they're really, it's magnified. That's the right word, magnified. So these magnifications of what's a typical, in my language, conjunction of moon with a planet. So moon in direct line with Mars, moon in direct line with Mercury. This is magnified by what's going on at this point in time. It's almost like you get this eclipse energy with it, with these, the Mercury and the Mars. So what does that mean, Pam? Well, what it means is that we have a real ramped up ability to say, I'm going to push through and make this happen. So two energies are happening, dark of moon period. I call this Hecate's time. Hecate, one of the great goddesses, is the midwife of birth and death. So she is very much, and when I say goddess, I'm talking about pieces of your psyche. So there is a piece of your psyche that is open to midwifing a new situation, whatever it may be, or an ending. And the beauty of every time something ends is it leaves a void for something new to be born. So much as we resist endings at times, it's the only way that we can invite in new energy, whatever it may be. So with that in mind, this particular couple of days, what is it you have to complete? What is it you want to get off your desk? What is it that's cluttering your brain? What is it that's in your way of making that new routine commitment happen? This is especially acute or personal or intense for someone who is working on a new orientation to what has been an addiction. Let me explain that. Virgo energy is about ritual. Virgo is the symbol of the Vestal Virgin, the person who holds the hearth. Actually, she is very in line with Susie and my work, Stoke the Fire, because Vesta, Virgo, Vestal Virgin, the thing that makes the fire constant and tends it, does the work that needs to be done so that we are warm, so that we are inspired, so that we can have the energy to pull up and make things happen. So Virgo, very, very important energy to a person. And if you're feeling like that isn't your usual way of being, or you feel as though there's an addiction, whether it's a person or a substance or a habit that feels like it drags you down, this is a wonderful time to reorient yourself. And the best way to reorient yourself to some sort of practice that's negative is to put in a practice that's positive. What is it that helps you hold that flame of whatever your conviction or commitment may be? So that's what we can do in this dark of moon cycle. What is it you want to integrate in a different way. So take that, whatever that habit used to be that you're done with, or you feel is unhealthy, or it holds you back, and how do you spin it a different way so that you're able to really push ahead this next lunar cycle and make it your own, whatever the practice is. So as we're in the dark of moon cycle, think of something that you're moving from or completing or integrating in a different way, and what is it you're inviting in to take the place of that habit, orientation, practice that you want to do differently. And it can be that, okay, you've been running 2 miles a day and you love doing that, but now it's time to make it 1 mile a day and do something that is less harsh for your knees. So it doesn't have to be a negative habit necessarily, but something that you want to switch into a new way of being. So Monday night, great to be thinking of those things. Perfect for meditation in the evening, inviting in the new. Tuesday, the Venus enters the sign of Virgo for her few-week cycle in that sign, so that kind of gives an extra wallop to this Virgo new moon that we're about to experience, because it brings in a lot of focus to the details that need to happen in order to make that practice run the way you would like it to. Can be a bit of confusion, especially in the late evening. Really, really good to get offline. Don't do anything really important in the evening, late evening. It's much better to meditate, focus. I mean, not focus so much as it's like with a lens, when you change your lens so that everything looks a little mushy, so that you just kind of dissolve out and let things just dissolve out a bit, so that tomorrow, once that new moon comes in, as I said earlier, 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, you really are ready to hit the ground running into whatever it is you want to make happen next. Now, not necessarily on that day, and I'll explain why later, but it's a great evening to kind of put something under your pillow, prayer work, really think in terms of what is it you want to manifest. What is your intention in this lunar cycle? So the lunar cycle, new moon in Virgo. New moons, I always say it's wonderful to make a list of a few things that you want to make happen. One thing that you just really want to get done. Another thing that maybe is a bit more of a stretch or a bit more of a push. Really, really good, as I said, the Virgo moon, new moon, about anything that's a health practice, a routine that's a healthy routine, a pet that you might want to train or bring into the world. That's a wonderful thing with the Virgo new moon. I'm just chuckling because I know Susie has a new puppy, but maybe she'll talk about that later. But the other thing with Virgo new moon is wonderful if you want to communicate a little differently with coworkers. If you have people who work under you, this is a great time to reevaluate and think how that's working or not working. Or if you partner with people, if people work with you, are things working well? Are you feeling that the work is balanced and people are doing things that really emphasize their strengths, rather than feeling thwarted by things that are not necessarily easy or natural to them. Virgo really thrives in environments where service is somehow recognized. So maybe a time when, and this can be especially helpful for people who feel, you know, I work really hard, I do things a certain way. Is there any volunteer time in your day? And there may not be any time to really do that, but what is it that you can do that makes you feel like you are of service in some way? Sometimes with work or very busy schedules, we lose track of what also makes us feel as though we're a part in some way of the greater whole. And so if that's missing in some way in your life, look at how you might invite that in over this lunar cycle. Again, doesn't have to be thematic to Virgo. Anything that you start that is new or you're giving a reorientation to is going to benefit over the next couple of weeks as the moon waxes to full. But it's especially emphasized if you're in themes that are key to the sign of Virgo. So I mentioned that you may not want to start something exactly on the 20th, and this is why. The energy is a little erratic. It's okay if you like surprises, if you're someone who adapts well and is flexible, but otherwise I would recommend that maybe you start whatever that activity or new thing is, like really put your teeth into it or your focus on it as of the afternoon of Friday. A couple of things are going on this week as well. On the 21st, it's Rosh Hashanah for people who recognize that. We're in that cycle as well. It's also the International Day of Peace. And this is one reason why I think with that new moon, it's really good for you, whether you have a regular meditation prayer practice or not, just give a little time towards thinking in terms of sending love out, sending vibes of peace out. There's a lot of negative energy. It's easy to fall into. It's easy to see stressful periods or people who say dark or negative things at this point in time. Bear in mind that just because someone is saying something that seems very hateful or even stupid or blindsided, it doesn't mean that the way to correct that is by sending negative energy that way. Conversely, even though it may feel counterintuitive, the best thing to do is to send love, send light, send positive energy, healing energy. So I invite you to consider that at this lunar cycle, especially Wednesday and Thursday and early Friday morning, because it can really turn it on its head. If enough light workers, if enough people think in terms of changing the rhetoric to dialogue, it can happen. It can happen like that. And so the more we exercise that muscle and really work it, the faster the acceleration process to greater consciousness evolution, believe it or not. So the autumn equinox happens on the 22nd, and at 1:40 p.m. the moon enters the sign of Scorpio. Now, I consider this the autumn equinox actually happens for people who like to stand the egg on its head. It happens exactly at 4:02 a.m. in the morning, p.m. in the afternoon. So I consider this a very powerful autumn equinox. Now, the equinoxes are incredibly strong from an astrological perspective because we have the evening of day and night, exact time, exact amount of hours in day as in night. It happens twice a year, spring and autumn. It happens at the autumn equinox when the sun moves into the sign of Libra. Libra, the sign of the scales. So we have this equal day and night sign of the scales, and with that energy of the new moon in Virgo that I was talking about, and the wanting to bring, as I said, more light into the sense of darkness or hopelessness that people may feel. The reality is you can't have dark without light, but you can temper, you can bring things up so that things are more in balance. And a lot of the counter discussion now is creating some imbalance. So we want to balance that out. So very powerful autumn equinox, because the moon is in the sign of Scorpio. This gives us a real charge to come to self-knowledge, to reflection, to really look at the deeper parts of self, which aren't always easy, but can really create a lightness as we do that. And it's part of a whole detoxification process, which actually is emphasized with that new moon in Virgo as well. So what is it you want to detox? What is it you must purge? What is it that creates a heaviness about you? Because we want to enter the season of darkness, which is what happens as the autumn equinox occurs, because we're entering into a darker cycle, at least in the northern hemisphere, reverse in the southern. But what's happening is we want to bring our flashlight along with us, our psychic flashlight or spiritual flashlight, whatever that may be. So this weekend, deep weekend for reflection, for inviting in self-knowledge, for inviting in deeper dialogues with people who you love or want to know better spiritually. The moon is void, of course, nearly all day on Sunday. Void, of course, in the moon of Scorpio really is perfect for meditation, deep work, and reflection. So wherever you find yourself, especially on Sunday, may it be somewhere where you can really savor those kind of inner passages and doorways into self-knowledge, because that's what, in the end, really lightens up and brings in greater consciousness and a greater ability to relate more fully to yourself and to the people you love on the planet. So now I turn it over to Susie.
Wow, it's such an interesting week too, Pam, because just looking at the weather, and you know, we've had these terrible hurricanes, and it looks like we might be having Jose affecting also the east coast of America again on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is the timing of the new moon. Very interesting. And
better the new moon than the full moon.
Pardon?
It's better the new moon than the full moon when a hurricane happens, because when it's a full moon, like with Hurricane Sandy, the tides are huge.
More water.
New moon tides are quieter. So even though it can be a difficult hurricane, it will be less catastrophic than when that lunar cycle is full.
Good to know. And it's interesting, I'm actually going to be at a wedding on Friday, and I'm just thinking, wow, what an important, they're getting married Friday afternoon. So it's so beautiful, it just symbolically, the equaling and the balance of when two people are getting married at 5 p.m, that they're getting married at that time of equality and of balance. Beautiful. So, yeah. So, okay. It feels like, of course, another one of those weeks. And so much happening in terms of new moons and equinox, and so much going on. And yes, I still am here with my new puppy, who I will show you all a little bit later after our meditation, but now she's asleep, so we'll do a nice quiet meditation while she's asleep beside me. Okay, so let's go into our meditation. I invite everybody just to hold that place of quiet in their body. And off we go. Dear loved ones, we are the master teachers, and as we work together, we invite you now to take a deeper breath, to come into that place of grounding, to come into that place of quiet. And let us really activate now into what you call the third eye, into the very center of your head, the pineal gland. And let us work with really activating the pineal gland so that you can really work towards preparing, imagining, creating, manifesting, envisioning a very powerful month ahead for yourself, where you can be really standing in your truth and in your creativity, in your awareness, in your service of others. So let us now bring the attention to the pineal gland, to the very center, the dead center, the geocenter of your head, right in the middle there, between the two hemispheres. That tiny little gland, the pineal gland, which actually is really, really very flushed with blood. There is the blood-brain barrier, but this part, this pineal gland, actually isn't a part of that system because it receives a great deal of blood. It's in fact secondary to the kidneys. It's really very, very active and vital part of the biological body. It's also the seat of so much information. Some call it the seat of the soul. So as you're bringing energy to that part, just imagine a tiny wee little pine cone, 10 by 6 millimeters in the center of your head, and visualize there now a beautiful diamond. That your pineal gland is a beautiful diamond with multi facets, lots and lots of facets, and it's sending out rainbow white light throughout your brain, clearing away all the cobwebs, opening up all of those channels that haven't been used, opening up all of the blockages, opening up all of those parts of your brain. Visualize this rainbow white light. And as you visualize the rainbow white light, bring to yourself a sense of opening, that allowing for new potential, allowing for new creation, allowing for new imagination. That all of this world basically comes to you because of what you imagine, what you think in this head. That so much of everything around you has to do with your perception. And this perception is literally a lens. It's a lens on the world. You might have a rose-tinted lens or a blue-tinted lens, but how you see the world, just step into that place of how you see the world. And as you step into that place, just push it out a bit, open it up a bit, expand it a little bit. Allow the concepts, the dogmas, everything you've learned, the science, the religion, the dogma, the culture, allow everything just to spread out. What you've learned about behavior or experience, just allow it to spread out a bit. Give it some more space. And as you give it some more space, you're able to breathe better. Your biological body is in flow better. There's less contraction. There's less confusion. There's more awareness and there's more potential. And feel yourself now expanding so much outside of what you call your boundaries, your restrictions, your blockages, and feel yourself literally tapping into the universal field, the morphic field. Feel yourself just tapping into humanity, tapping into all awareness, just on the planet, just awareness. There's no need to be overwhelmed. We're just simply tapping into the cloud, so to speak. And in that cloud, everything exists. All time, all space. You're transcending all of what you call awareness. And in that space now, just tap into what it is that you truly, truly would like to bring into your life in the next month, in the next cycle of the moon. What you would like to truly bring into your life, to bring you into your highest power, to bring you into that place where you can be in your highest potential, where you can really help yourself and help others around you. where you can be comfortable and satisfied and thriving in the physical world, but also really push yourself spiritually. How can you really come into a more expanded version of yourself spiritually? So tap into what it is that you would like. If you don't know exactly, just tap into the awareness, tap into the potential. And then feel all of this code or information. It might appear to you visually, you might feel it emotionally, but just allow all of this now to come into you, to download literally from the field, which is you. This is your expanded field. It's all you. There is literally nothing outside of you. It's all you. We are not asking angels for help or deities for help. We're simply working now with the expanded version of you. And you are immense. You are diverse. You are unlimited in all directions. And just feel all that energy now coming in, integrating into this field, into who you are right now, stoking the fire, watering the seeds, and begin to plant exactly what you would like to bring in right now, this month into your life. The practical, the spiritual, the emotional. And think of yourself not as this one small 3D being, but a vast being of great wisdom, of great ability, of great skill. And feel this just deepening into your field, sending rainbow light out in all directions. And with this rainbow light, all of the cells of your body also are coming back to vital health. Wherever there is illness, wherever there is a need for repair, just feel all of this energy pumping up the vital health, pumping up your immunity, pumping up physically your strength, making your muscles bigger, making your heart muscle strong and powerful, emotionally, spiritually. And feel the brain expanding, your IQ growing, your ability to problem solve, your ability to relate, your ability to communicate, your ability to create, everything growing. A time of immense growth. Your ability to speak your truth, your ability to express yourself clearly and from divine heart, all of this growing. And feel the rainbow light now going to all parts of your field, all parts of your energy. Feel the vitalization, the strength, the awareness. And as you do this, feel also the curiosity and the enthusiasm to be here now. To be here now as an excited, full of love human being. Taking a few deeper breaths, feel yourself centering into this reality, where you are. And gently open your eyes, and here we are. So that sounds like a very exciting meditation for us for the week.
Absolutely. I love those enlarging when you talk about the pineal gland and just getting into touch with that. So we are Stoke the Fire. This is what we do every week, presenting astrology, and then Susie pulls off whatever I talked about energetically to give you a tool you need to make the most of the week. And you can take that little meditation activation and use it again and again. It is evergreen, unlike the information of the astrology forecast, which is just specifically for that week. But if you want to have a greater sense of how things are going for you as an individual, I can help you do that through astrology. It's wonderful for timing and for a pretty accurate orientation, alignment rather, with who you are as an individual and how to best manifest your design at this point in time or in the future. So you can find out more about me at insightoasis.com, my astrology. You can find out about Stoke the Fire at stokethefire.guru. And we have 2 specials going on now. One, you can do 6 weeks of getting the MP3 delivered Sunday evening so that you're prepared for the week. It's just the encapsulated essence of the forecast and Susie's meditation. You can get that for half price, 6 weeks, or if you want to sign up for a year, you get a free consultation with either Susie or myself, a phone consultation. Your choice. It's a great deal. Susie, tell us about what you do.
Sure. And I just want to say thanks to the people that do send us a message and drop us a call and say that they're really enjoying our program. So a shout out to Sabrina, and thanks so much for contacting us from Vermont and telling us that you're enjoying our program for many years now. And also a shout out to Paul in New Jersey. Thanks so much. And it's so great that you use Stoke the Fire to amp up your week and guide you for the week. So thanks so much for letting us know. We really appreciate hearing back from people. I have a website, susiemazzoli-healer.com. And through that website, you can book a healing session or a homeopathic consultation with me or for spiritual guidance by phone or by Skype or in person in New York City. And I also have the School of Energetic Healing, and our course is nearly pretty much booked out for October, but we will be starting some new courses. So please contact us, Energy Healing School New York, ny.com. And we meet once a month for a very intensive class in energy healing. And at the end of the year, you have a certificate in energy healing and you're a Reiki practitioner. So I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to study with me. I've been teaching for nearly 20 years now, and it's definitely an intense course in spiritual development as well. And for my dog lover friends, I just want to say that Nutmeg is growing very fast. And I'm just going to pick her up here. Here she is. Oh, there she is. So this is our baby Nutmeg with her extremely big paws, and she's doing really well. So thank you everyone for sending messages to Nutmeg as well. She's a very happy little puppy. Off to sleep she goes. So thank you, Pam. And also just let me shout out that I'm hoping that my dear friends have a wonderful wedding this weekend, and I can't wait to see you all. Lots of love to everyone, and we'll see everyone next Monday on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us.